Welcome back to Amanda Plays Games. We're back in Sherlock Holmes, Chapter 1. We are on our quest to find out what happens with our mother. So we're doing Sacrificial Lamb. There's going to be some more information about our mom after this, I think. But for now, we are headed Turquoise Lane in Grand Surrey, across from Cordona Abbey in northern Grand Surrey. Grand Surrey. Founders Square. This must be the Abbey, right? Yes. On Turquoise Lane, so this is probably where we need to be. Okay. Let's I guess let's fast travel here. It might be the quickest way. We're gonna find out what's going on here and why we need to wear the scariest mask and cape combo. We look ridiculous. Hope he knows. Is it here then? Is this where we need to be? The mansion. So this seems like a mansion.
Welcome to the Mantius Mansion.
Yep, this is where I need to be. Mantius Mansion. Hello.
Do you know anything about this?
I can't help you with that, sir.
Do we have ladies involved too?
May I ask for your assistance?
I'm so sorry. I can't help you, sir.
We do.
Everyone's looking at us, Sherry. You sure you know what you're doing?
No.
Welcome, sir. I do hope you enjoy yourself.
I'll try. As long as we're not sacrificing actual goats or anything. Or lambs. There is that thing in the graveyard that I found at the beginning of the game that I'm kind of worried about. Alright. Broad warning, there might be nudity in the paintings again. But it's art. What can be done about it?
I think we deserve a rest.
Enjoy the evening, sir. There is still plenty of time before the grand finale.
All right.
Uh-oh, the grand finale. That doesn't sound good. There's people in underpants and a blindfolded pianist. This is too wild for me. This is the kind of party I don't want to be involved in. Oh no. Is that Vogel? Do we know? Is there a way to tell? I mean, he is in a position of power. Or was that supposed to mean me overlooking everything?
What if I write an article about these people here? Can you help me gather information about Cordona's elite?
What do you want me to do, John? John asked me to look for information that he might use to write an article exposing the elite. Local elite. Well, I can only assume.
You have such pretty hands. What can you do with them?
I don't know how I feel about this. A harness, underpants, and fancy shoes.
I guarantee you will have a good time.
There's a lot. John, what are you doing?
My goodness, Sherlock. They made a blood fountain.
No, John, it's definitely not blood, just wine. Cahors, is it a guess?
The wine vapours from here will be enough to get me tipsy. I hope.
You noodle.
Excuse me, just one question.
Sorry, but I can't be of help with that, sir.
Oh no, I'm afraid to wander around a little bit. Just, don't look around. Just eyes down. Oh. Uh-oh. Cover your eyes. I don't know we're gonna find here.
Sherlock! Friend! I wasn't sure you'd come.
Shoo! Shoo, women!
Werner, I see you are not yourself.
The more time you spend here in Cordona, the more I feel it my duty to bring you into our world and show you all we have to offer.
And what is on offer today?
Pleasure, indulgence, relief, and relaxation. You've earned some time for yourself, have you not?
Those who know me would say I'm incapable of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you're barking up the wrong tree here,
I
honey.
refuse to believe there is anyone permitted to know Sherlock Holmes.
You may be right.
I'm still...
Free yourself from inhibition and expectation. The night is young, and so are the guests. You should try to enjoy both. It's not healthy for handsome men to spend every night alone, and certainly not in a house filled with such melancholic memories.
I must admit, my travels have proven more taxing
No,
than
no,
expected.
Sherlock. Don't
I'm
be
less
dragged in.
confident in my life and myself. Time of relaxation seems a distant dream.
So can I tempt you with a physical aid to your moral consolations? There's wine, of course, something to smoke, or perhaps an artificial paradise?
No, Sherlock,
Yes,
don't do
something more
it.
spiritual, a potentiator to sharpen the mind. A 7% solution of, well, that'd be telling, but you must try it.
No, Sherlock. That'd be reckless.
My mind is my most valuable asset and a finely tuned instrument. I will not risk impeding its function.
Good job, baby.
My ultimate duty is to provide the world with truth, and I do that perfectly well as is.
Duty? You've never cared about that before.
Of course I do. Exposing a lie, revealing a fact, that is a moral responsibility.
That's not morality. Morals are what happens afterwards when truth collides with consequence. Do you ever follow up on cases you solved?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever see what happened next? Visit the victims?
I try.
Ensure justice is served in the courts? And how do you choose where to direct your attention? Are there not deserving causes to which your brilliance could be applied but isn't?
You ascribe me more power than I possess. I have a narrow skill set and work within that mandate. What occurs afterward is irrelevant.
With every action or inaction, you place a finger on the scales
It wouldn't
of morality.
surprise me if this guy
Many
was
in the
actually
city would see
Moriarty.
you as abdicating your responsibility.
I haven't.
Not me, of course. Morality is subjective, just like truth. There is little to be gained from indulging in it, and far better things to indulge in. Now I must insist on easing any burdens I've placed upon your shoulders. Show yourself a kindness.
No.
And try this rather delectable concoction.
Don't get hooked on drugs. I'd rather take it for
If
study.
this solution truly does assist with thinking, then well, perhaps it would be puerile to overlook an opportunity to study it. I'll take it with me.
Yes, Sherlock. Very good. And now, our evening begins in earnest.
I mean, I know that in the books
I
he's
just
like...
remembered. I'm sorry, Sherlock. My mind's delightfully impaired. Please take this key. It opens the altar room, past the library.
I don't know that
Pardon?
I want to do that.
Altar room. What now, Werner?
Go quickly and find our Fabio. Only you can make him talk. I'll join you in a minute.
I know that in the... Where's the key? Did I take it already? I know that in the books he's like addicted to opioids, I think it is. Book wants you to meet someone in the altar room. Okay, yeah.
I guarantee you will have a good time.
You can't guarantee me that because you don't know what I want. How do I get there? John, what are you
You
doing?
should sit next to me and wait to be served.
We have business to attend to, John.
Manchos had to...
Oh, wait, what? Disclosure scandal. Okay. Someone was sick. No. Offended Duchess. Fired after incident. Cheating groom. Okay. Offended Duchess, cheating groom, fired after incident.
Nancho's had to inform.
Okay. Uninvited priest. No. Too poor to attend. No. Offended Duchess. I can't remember. Political crisis. Someone was sick. Cheating groom. Fire after incident. Okay. People described a scandal from a previous party. Vice Governor Cowden was found by his wife-to-be, a Prussian duchess, in the company of young men. Although the marriage was intended to be a political one, the emotions of the duchess were real. The incident instigated a political crisis between Cordona and Prussia. Although there were only a few notes of protest, the governor fired his protege.
That's what I like about this party. Bring me more dirt, Sherry.
I'll
One
try.
more piece, and I can expose these base hedonists.
I'll attempt to, my dear. Nope.
Curtains do not guarantee privacy.
And
I'm
you still
coming,
need a
Sherry.
crack, despite being
Just
ethereal.
give me another second.
You know what was here before Nancho's family bought it.
I don't. Okay. Fraud. Action. Magic circle. Ancestral home. Expensive one. Occultist. Magic circle and occultist.
You know what was here.
Magic circle. Occultist. No. No. Magic circle. No. No. Occultist. I don't think it was the ancestral home. Mistress disappearance. Before Mencio's family, the mansion was owned by an occultist architect. He dedicated his life to conducting a powerful ritual from the forgotten tome. But the ordinary magic circles proved to be too weak for it. That was why he built this mansion. A keen eye might notice that its shapes correspond with certain magical symbols, and some walls have cavities. One day the architect simply disappeared. An ash stain on the floor was all that remained. Perhaps he was successful in his
I'll
endeavor.
pin them down, Biscoop. Thank you, Sherlock.
Well, there we go. Where in the world is this supposed altar room? No. This way? This is the coat closet.
Oh, I heard the finale will be splendid.
I'm not a fan. It sounds like we're gonna kill a goat, and I'm not a fan of that. Whoa.
These medieval botany and chemistry books look even more satanic than the occult ones. Romantic poetry and prose. Someone's in touch with their feelings. Codex Orchis. Why does this occult book sound like a flower?
Okay.
Well-known and recent plays to keep up to date with the current trends.
One of these books must open a secret passage. I know it.
Well, you try what you're gonna try. And I will continue on, I think, to the... Can we talk to the piano player? We can't.
Do not distract me. It's not easy to play blindfold.
Sorry, you're 100% right. Alright, I guess let's get into this. I don't like it, but... I see blood. Oh my god! What's happening?
My god. Was he here this whole time?
This is so much worse than a goat. Dude, you got a dead guy in here. I hope you have some explaining to do.
This elaborate box must be for the ritual dagger. This oil has a slight aroma of flowers and olive. The ointment smells mouse-like. I presume it is an aphrodisiac prepared from a Spanish fly. The herbs here are Salvia divinorum. They have a slight hallucinogenic effect to emphasize the ceremony.
Well, this doesn't look good, John.
Oh, these crime scenes always outdo my imagination.
Yeah, no kidding, me too, honey.
The sign reminds me of the astrological symbol for Mars.
Mm-hmm.
This one looks like a twisted symbol of Venus, drawn in a hurry.
Are these the bathrooms? No, because there's no place to potty. A dressing room. Alright, let's look at this dead guy first. Holy moly.
A blunt force trauma may have suffered an internal hemorrhage.
Mm-hmm. Plus this dagger sticking out of him.
This golden handle has a bloodstain on it.
So somebody
The
hurt
dagger
themselves.
is heavy and sharp, but lacks balance. This worm-like sigil has been drawn with his own blood.
Tattoo covers a mark.
This
Slave
crude
branding.
tattoo partially covers a slave branding.
Yep, he got stabbed.
The wound is deep. A precise strike reached the heart.
Oh man, I feel like he probably is Moriarty. We just walked into his craziness, crazy town, crazy place.
The victim has clenched the fabric so firmly in his fist that it's nigh impossible to remove it. He died right here.
You don't say. I wouldn't have guessed. You don't think this is important, Sherlock? This blood stain on the wall? Oh, John, you
What
started.
about a
startled
quick
me.
pillow fight?
No, John. We don't have the time for that. Okay. Cigars.
Enough cigars to burn down the entire mansion.
One's still lit. Obviously. A crop.
Why don't people tidy up after themselves?
My dear.
Blood. A sturdy bottle met a not-so-sturdy human. It didn't break only because it was unopened.
So that's what he got bludgeoned with. Stained
An open
blood.
wound spoiled the carpet.
So he got smacked, fell down, and then they dragged him to the ritual site and stabbed him with a sword. Looks like he's ripping his throat out. That's not good. I think that's it. In here. Yeah, you don't care about this handprint here? At all. That's a little hand. Oh, hello. Yeah, jerk, some dude is dead here. Hold on, I need to look around a little bit more.
Similar to the guests' robes, apart from the bloodstains.
Mm-hmm.
Handcrafted and luxurious cufflinks. There's also a note. For my Fabio, Manchos.
Would you recognize me in one of these? I suppose not.
I mean, I feel like I would, because when somebody talks to you, then you know who it is. That's, I think, the next table over. There we go. It's real finicky sometimes. There we go. F.
The key is similar to the one that Vogel gave me.
Only it's got an F on it.
The capital F on the key fob might refer to Fabio.
Okay.
Props, decorations, and tools for a more detailed set.
I hear you. I'm going to look.
This is a different ritual.
I found a scenario of some sort of ritual with a remark written at the beginning. It says, read and rehearse this rite. Manchios. Excuse me. A naked woman lies on the altar on the bed of flowers symbolizing Mother Gaia. The one who leads the ritual oils the body of the woman to awaken her inner fertility. Participants should chant at this moment and call for the man, who can please Mother Gaia. Then the man who will impersonate the principle of life may come and engage in sexual congress with her. Okay. Don't ignore the guests, Matista. And stop boring them. They don't want to hear about your stupidities. They want to feel how beautiful they are and how generous you can be towards them. You're here to please and celebrate life. Remember, each guest paid a great deal to be with you.
How can anyone accept such behavior?
Yeah, this seems like
a useful tool for a disguise arsenal.
Don't exactly know what I'm looking at yet.
The pitcher is empty, but with puddles around it. Blood clots are adhered to the sides of the drain.
Okay. A wet handprint.
Identical to the robes the guests are wearing.
Is that it in here? I think so. What do these doors lead to? Ah. Alright, let me take a look at my case book. You have a lot of explaining to do, sir. A lot of blood around, mostly coming from the wound in his chest. Okay, we'll pin it. Oh no, we'll pin it here. Private room where guests can smoke in comfort. There are droplets of blood on the carpet. Wine bottle. Okay. First we'll do this.
The wounded person was here for some time. A bloody handprint on an armchair.
Okay, so... And then they got up. Now we can look at this.
A person leaned against the doorframe. They left a smudged trail of blood. There appear to be no further traces leading to the altar.
Okay. Some blood drops and handprints. One of the guests may have taken the robe from here. Look, you got a lot of...
Werner, care to explain what is going on here?
On nights like these, it's not unusual for some attendees to get a little exuberant. It's part of the appeal.
Dude, a man is
Unfortunately,
dead.
it appears things have gotten out of hand. Yes, some are more prone to bend the rules of morality.
That's murder. I doubt there's anything left to bend. Why did you not tell me immediately? We were chatting about trivial matters for some time.
If I'm completely honest, Sherlock, I've consumed a rather potent cocktail of substances. My attention slips and drifts. But I'm glad I thought to call for you.
You sent me a disguise.
Oh dear, did I? Well, since I found the body, Mr. Manchios has agreed that you can investigate the matter. I promise my mind will behave itself going forward.
All right. Pull yourself together, Werner.
Who's Mr. Mencios?
Mr. Manchios is the owner of the manor, yes?
And the host of Cordona's most memorable parties. He promises even the ugliest guest a partner for the night. And for the ones with more unconventional tastes, Mr. Manchios provides other services.
I don't
What a caring
know
person.
What that means.
You cannot begin to imagine.
How did you find the body?
How did you discover the body? In between guzzles of alcohol?
I was set to perform in a fecundity rite with Fabio and came to inquire further. It was a staged ritual where he was to play the principle of life.
And the rehearsal was unsuccessful?
Huh. Who knows? I found him alone on the altar, his blood dripping to the floor.
And then?
Then I called Mr. Manchios. He was panicking, so I told him about you. We left the room and locked the door. Then we were...
Filling time?
Waiting for you was stressful. We indulged in some simple comforts. Overindulged, perhaps.
Did you know the victim?
Were you well acquainted with Fabio, the victim?
Everyone knew Fabio, or wanted to. His beauty was the talk of the island. Too handsome to go unnoticed. He was magnetic. Fat wallets fought for the privilege of having him. He offered the pleasures of performance, and more.
Okay, tell me about the ritual.
What about the fertility ritual? There was something about Fabio being a principle of life.
And then were you
Fabio was
Mother
supposed to
Gaia?
portray the beauty of life's origin. Flowers, oil, not this travesty that seems straight out of the Inquisition.
So this ritual is not the fertility rite. What was it meant to look like?
It begins with a woman lying naked in a flower bed on the altar. She represents Gaia, the earth.
Oh, okay.
As I cover her in
He
oils,
was the
we chant for the principle.
third
As our
party.
calls reach a climax, Fabio enters and copulates with her. After he finishes, I stab her with a dagger. That part's just pretend, of course.
But the intercourse is not?
I did not expect you to be such a prude. Are you a virgin? It is nothing to be ashamed of, but it would explain the color of your cheeks.
You
The
can't see my
fertility rite
cheeks.
marks the start of our festivities. The principle of life is beautiful, intimate, essential. It must not be stopped.
Yet it appears that someone did stop it. What about the naked woman? Can you tell me anything about her?
Oh yes, Matista. She's one of Fabio's compatriots and a performer too. I haven't seen her today, actually.
Okay.
When you discovered the body, was the door open?
No, it was locked. Oh, that reminds me. It's a minor detail, but the first time I came to speak to Fabio, I left without entering, having been unable to open the door.
You didn't have the key?
No, I had it. Don't look at me like that. I was mostly sober. I suspect there was a key in the other side of the door, blocking the lock.
That detail may very well be major, Werner. Well done. So you returned later, only to find the lock was not blocked.
Correct. After an hour
John
had
is back there
passed,
shaking his
I
head.
tried again and was able to unlock the door. That's when I discovered poor, handsome Fabio.
The police
Okay.
remain unaware of this tragic event?
Some of them may be hiding behind their masks. They conceal many things. But we didn't want the authorities to create more problems. Besides, after a few cocktails, their incompetence will have soared to new heights.
How do you know I even want the case?
I promised you relaxation. If there's one thing I know about you, Sherlock, it's that nothing soothes you more than a good mystery.
So, Sherry, do you have any ideas about the case?
Perhaps. I think I can deduce what happened here.
Can we? Don't lay down, please. Okay, that's fine. Just a bloody stone floor. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Somebody smacked. No, I don't think so. Yes, I feel like this is probably true. No, there's no stabbing. There was, I don't think so. I think he stumbled over here. Okay. And then... no, and then they stabbed him. Well, seems about right. And then... came in here. Put the dirty one... no, it was this mystery person, I'm pretty sure. And then scrubbed up. Well, it wasn't Fabio. Okay. I feel like that's pretty much what's going on here. And then there's another thing over here. If I had to guess, I would say it's the mystery person who...
You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate.
Oh, what do I have wrong, John? I wish you would just tell me. I'm not that smart. Maybe he did drag him. Although it's the wrong hand. I don't think that's right. Oh, it is.
The bottle
Okay.
was used as a weapon during a scuffle in the smoking lounge. Then, to ensure no one would interrupt, the murderer locked the door. The unconscious body of the victim was moved to the altar room. Once the body was on the altar, the murderer thrust the dagger into the victim's heart. Symbols were drawn with the blood. The wardrobe was used to hide the bloodied robe from anyone's eyes. The killer washed himself and took a clean robe from the hanger before leaving.
Are you all right? You're on the floor, not moving.
Don't worry about
I think
it.
I know what happened here.
Don't worry about it. Tista. Guess I'll have to mark this one. Let's see. Let's go in the Mind Palace here. Fabio died. Fabio was sacrificed on an altar during an occult ritual. Okay, so either a ritual was staged, it was used to cover a true motive. I would assume this, but I guess we'll have to see eventually. The murderer was in possession of a key to the altar room and locked the door. Okay, these two don't have anything to do with each other. It is clear the murderer had the key. If I find out who has the key to the altar room, I'll shrink the circle of suspects. Okay.
I'm starting to put the pieces together.
Fabio was stabbed.
I see nothing gets past you, Werner. Yes, he was stabbed, but only after being knocked out in the next room and placed here. I do not yet know why.
So, who's responsible?
Well, it was one person working alone, and the murderer has now donned a robe. He or she could be hiding in plain sight. We have lost time, Werner, but your discretion may prove to be a benediction after all.
Let's ask him some questions here.
I can't follow you here. I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I can't follow you here. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I can't follow you here. I'm not supposed to know anything about this.
Jeez.
I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I don't think I can tell you anything about
What
this.
can you tell us?
I can't follow you here. I don't think I can tell you anything about this.
The murderer had to have access to this room. After the crime, he used his own key to lock the door. So, who had the key to the altar?
I'm not sure. As a special guest, I was provided one by Mr. Manchios. He should be able to tell you of any others.
Where can I find him?
Most likely in the main hall, entertaining his guests. He has a mask with golden stars. You can't miss him. But please be discreet. We don't want to risk disturbing the revelry.
Dude, a man is dead. John. John was as outraged as I was. He was like, what the heck? Okay. I mean, are these stars? Hello.
Are you able to help me?
Excuse me? What? I'm not sure I know.
Okay. Stars. I can't see people's faces very well. Oh, stars.
Kurt Manchios, I presume. I'm Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, you must be the one Werner told me about. What a sweet voice you have. It must belong to a handsome young man. Can I call you Sherlock?
Can we
As you
stop?
wish, Mr. Manchios.
Poor
Mr.
guy.
Vogel asked me to help you. The body in the altar room requires answers, and quickly. I suspect the murderer to still be here.
What? Lower your voice. I don't want anyone to hear us.
A man is dead.
Did you know Fabio well?
People are starting to look at us, Sherlock. Change the subject. I can't believe what happened to him. To me. Such an atrocity. Think what it means for me. A wonderful evening for so many good, influential, and rich people has been ruined. I have betrayed all my promises of exotic delights.
I don't understand. Surely a murder would affect your reputation to a greater extent.
Please, isn't this why you are here? I thought you were a silent magician. Do your tricks and make it go away.
No. I just solve crimes and then arrest people.
I need to find all those who had the key to the altar room. As far as I know, Mr. Vogel, Fabio, and you had access to it. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Also, Matista and Santos.
Santos? Who is that?
Santos Pinchetti, my major domo. In his opinion, at least.
I don't know what a major domo is. Hold on. I need to I need to get my phone so I can do research about words. Hold on. Okay. Major domo. The chief steward of a large household. Okay. Interesting. Where can I find them?
I'd like to speak to Mr. Pinchetti and Matista. Do you have somewhere I might have a private conversation with them?
Of course, of course. Let me think. Matista is entertaining the guests somewhere, and Santos... Oh, yes. He will be busy with the servants. Or the cook. What's that noise? What's going on?
I was gonna say, I hear a lot of
He's
banging.
filth. You're under arrest.
What the heck is going on here? What's happening? Oh my god, we're being raided! To some very beautiful classical music. What is happening? Oh my god. This poor man is being murdered right in front of our... There's no way that man survived getting yeeted off the top step of a balcony. Da, 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 da. What is happening? This guy... No, don't hit him. Are we in handcuffs? Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, yeah. Are we gonna be in the police next? In the police station? Yes,
Committed
we
a
are.
crime, and now I have to free you, kiss your hand, and apologize for the inconvenience. Your Grace.
I did tell you that Mr. Vogel and I were innocent. I emphasized it in my statement.
Your statement? Thanks to some bigwigs who work for the so-called good of the country by releasing fleas like you. Thank God we have Vogel in his letter. Once I get to that goldfish, I'll...
Bigwig. Oh, my wretched brother Mycroft and his long nose.
Wait, did you say Mycroft? Mycroft Holmes? Are you the youngest son of Violet Holmes, rest her soul?
Yeah, do you know about my mother?
You knew my mother?
Not personally, no. Not exactly. I was working on the paperwork for that case.
Would you happen to remember anything of the events?
Well, I didn't make the inquiry, but I remember seeing some notes. Why?
Perhaps we can negotiate. Please help me.
You must help me. It would mean a great deal to me if you could find any information about that day.
Huh. Got you hooked, right? You know what? Stark and the others think they're the smartest here, thanks to you. Let me get this straight. Are you listening to me, lad?
I'm all ears.
Yes, you haven't
Take
said
this
anything
case. Report to me only, to Constable Harvey Oswald. I'll leave everything I have on this table. Find the murderer. Be a real copper. Question the suspects, make them sing, give me something substantial.
And if Mr. Vogel is not a suspect?
If he's innocent, then you can take your favourite degenerate away from here. If you slip or mess with the evidence, then trust me, your brother won't save you from my bludgeon. Meanwhile, I'll be checking the archive for you.
Okay.
If anybody asks, then you're a consulting detective.
Let's make a start then, partner.
Sherlock is like, I just want to know what happened to my mother, so... I'll
I'm
help
glad
you.
we managed to get the scoop before the raid.
He was like, that was the most hilarious raid I've ever seen in my life. The thing is, we were already trying to solve this murder. Following a report from a witness of the satanic ritual who claimed to have found a body, the raid on the Manchios mansion was granted. It resulted in the arrest of multiple suspects and dispersal from the group in masks and robes caught in acts of gross indecency and unnatural behavior. The body of the victim was found lying on an altar with a knife wound in his chest. Yeah. The officers identified the victim, Fabio, 20, a local performer and artist. Arrested suspects, Vogel, had a letter of an insulting nature in his possession, which had been written by the victim. He claims to have found the body, but he is infamous for his eccentric personality. Carried a murder weapon, a dagger. Yes, I know, I was already checking out the crime scene here. A dagger with the victim's blood and other items of evidence. He was invited by another suspect, Werner Vogel, presumably to obstruct the official investigation. Manchios, the owner of the mansion, an organizer of the satanic party, paid the victim to participate in the ritual, had access to the crime scene. And Matista, Fabio's partner and participant in the ritual, tried to escape, resisted arrest, owned a book with a description of the ritual performed in the altar room. Some of the guests are temporarily detained for further questioning. Okay. I, Santos Pinchetti, am a witness who reports a suspicion of murder at Manchios mansion in Grand Surrey. During preparations for the social party, I heard loud noises from the closed altar room. Immediately, I thought of the sacrifice of the living being overviewed by none other than Kurt Manchios. There was blood on the walls, strange symbols, and a dagger in the heart. As soon as I was able to think clearly, I rushed to the police station to report my findings. The station responded to the deposition by sending a patrol while the witness left the station and went home. That's suspicious, don't you think? The provider of this ticket has permission to inspect all evidence on case number 62-60. Perfect.
Back on track to solve the case.
Yep. Do I need to change into police clothes? Oh, I can't change in here. Maybe because I'm... There we go. I was right in the doorway. I need to be more policey, I think. Here I am, being a policeman. Vogel's under arrest of suspicion, since he is the primary suspect. Okay. Witness deposition. Evidence ticket. Okay.
Look, I found Werner.
Did you, honey? Good job.
Werner, are you all right?
Oh, yes, yes. Everything's fine. In fact, it's something of a family reunion. My brother spent quite some time in this place himself.
You should not be here. I told the police everything I knew, but they refused to let you go. They require proof to free you.
Ha! What did you expect? The mighty Sherlock Holmes swans in, tells the officers what to think, and the world obeys?
Of course not. Anyway, I struck a deal with the constable, and I've got a free hand in the investigation. I find proof to solve the case for him. He obtains files about my mother's death for me.
Well done. If one has the power or will and can act, then one must. I wonder, suppose you couldn't get the proof to your truth. Would you tell a lie to the guard that enabled my freedom, knowing my innocence?
No.
Would that not be just?
I wouldn't lie for you.
There are lines I will not cross, Werner. I will
Because
do
I
my
don't
best to
trust
secure
him.
your release, but with proof, not deception.
Really? How many white lies have you told on this island? Why not for me? Why not another?
That is absurd. I can resolve this without compromises. Do not give up hope.
I don't trust him. He, is weirding me out. It makes me think that he's,
I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I can't follow you here.
It makes me think that he's a bad guy. Like, he just shows up and knows mysteriously about my mother's death and is like, I'll help you. And then he invites me to a party where there's a dead guy stabbed to a table. Seems a little strange, doesn't it?
I have learned who told the police about the crime. It was Santos Pinchetti,
Do I know him?
the major domo of the manor. He cleans up after you.
Well, then he does his job perfectly. All but invisible. I couldn't tell you the first thing about him.
No, nothing
I
else?
know you can untangle this mess.
What if I...
The air here is rather refreshing. I'd even recommend that some of my friends visit the place.
You're in style number... Oh, okay, I don't know. I have keys to 5 and 6, which are these ones.
I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald. You are Matista, Fabio's friend.
This body, yes, it's Matista. But it's a mere shell that will die someday. Just like Fabio.
Please accept my condolences for your friend.
Thank you.
I'm just here to ask questions and find Fabio's murderer.
It will not bring Fabio back.
Yeah, she's got quite a bit going on here. Primitive occult tattoo. Inks herself. Another slave burn mark. Bruising. Obtained recently on the neck. Old and healing cut, self-inflicted. Bitten nails, nervous. Scars around the ankles. A performer and Fabio's partner has had a difficult life. She was branded and enslaved while still a child. While enslaved, she met Fabio, hence their familiar branding. Old scars are a result of her slavery during adolescence. She continues to be haunted by the traumatic experiences. Matista seems to be pragmatic about her body after years of abuse. She sells herself to the guests, who do whatever they want to her. She's not afraid to step over the line. Also, Matista marks her own body with ink. She has general interest in mysticism since she tattooed her body with occult symbols. Matista tried to get over her past, and the life of a performer seems to be an opportunity for her to earn money. Given what she said earlier about how she was probably going to die too. Yeah.
You have both old and new scars. Some from the time when you were a slave with Fabio. Other scars have a different origin. The guests pay good money to torment you?
I am skilled in giving pleasure, but I don't participate in such practices.
I thought your body was...
For sale? It's true. Many unwanted things were done to my body. And the pain helped me to discover...
Occult deities? Yes, the tattoo speaks loudly of it.
Yes. Your gods abandoned me, and the ones I favor now are more protective of me.
How did you escape?
Something happened. One night the master fell down the stairs. I made him fall, and he died. We ran away that day. We managed to get on a ship and traveled here, to Gordona. Fabio and I started a new life here. It was very hard at first, but it became better with time. Until today.
The bruises on your neck are not self-inflicted. Someone else made them.
Some guests can't contain themselves. They even bite, sometimes.
Okay, Pinchetti is suspect who should be arrested and questioned. He has a key, which he did not... He had a key, which he did not mention in his deposition. That is true. Matista suffered bruises on her body from the brutal interactions with guests during party. Or Fabio bruised Matista. Oh, that's an option. Okay. Should tell constables. Okay.
I know I can handle the news.
Let's see. What about...
I know I can handle the news.
Okay, so maybe that's all I can talk to her about right now. Let's talk to this guy.
Good day, Mr. Manchios. I am Constable Oswald's partner in this investigation.
Be quick and gentle. Some of your colleagues are untrained boors. Although I don't mind meeting young officers. The new blood here.
If you cooperate in finding Fabio's murderer, there will be no need to meet with the Boers again.
That voice. Werner's friend? You're the policeman. What a disappointment.
Only an undercover agent can scour a ditch full of deviants. I am a consulting detective, although I'm capable of replacing the entire department through my consultations.
Sharp-tongued, I like it.
Yeah, okay,
May
calm
I
down.
presume this tongue will get us out of this trouble? I would be so indebted and glad to repay you.
Nothing's changed. I'm looking for the murderer. That's the only way to get us out of trouble.
But it shouldn't take much time, correct? We're all busy after all.
I need to examine you first.
Look. It'll take as long as it takes. And I'm not good at this, so it'll take a while. Rouge, which is just an old fancy word for blush. Rash from exposure to hair dye. Okay. Man, you have got the palest hands in the entire universe. Soap under the fingernails. Washed hands in a hurry. Interesting. Quality polished leather. Lavishly expensive. Kurt Munchios is extremely rich, eccentric, and frivolous. He is the organizer of the parties for Cordona's elite and the owner of the Manchios mansion. He spends his life in the company of similarly overprivileged people. However, Mr. Manchios wishes to hide his true age from the younger participants of his parties. He's concerned with aging to the point where he uses makeup and hair dye to look younger. That could be possible. His being sociable is in this manner has made him cautious regarding his health. He uses chemicals and hair dye to clean and improve himself to the extent that it damages his skin. I don't think so. I think he's trying to hide his age.
You are a little over the top with your use of makeup, Mr. Manchios. Is it so difficult for you to acknowledge your age?
Well, Sherlock, that's easy for you to say to an old man when you look as though you are barely 15.
But still, it shouldn't be an issue for someone of your status.
For people of my age, it isn't an issue, no. But the younger ones can be so afraid of wrinkles and grey flecks. I have to adapt.
Such a methodical man who cares for his body but misses the soap under his fingernails. Are you so impatient, or perhaps even impulsive?
I wouldn't call myself that. Silly little details. If I missed it, it wasn't important. Or rather, it was less important than who or what I was focused on.
What's Fabio like?
What was Fabio like? His personality, his habits? Anything you can tell me?
He was the brightest star of my parties. Young, magnetic, and full of energy. I don't even want to mention his beauty. Otherwise, I'll be sobbing.
An expensive champion, I imagine.
His performances were flawless. He deserved his payment. Do you think he was murdered because of money?
Possibly. What about the other guests? Were they used to opening their wallets as well?
I wouldn't restrict my guests from anything. I'm sure Fabio received a few coins from others for his services.
Mr. Vogel told me a little about your parties, but I would like to know more directly from you.
I'm all yours, Sherlock. You have me arrested and locked here with you alone.
Okay, calm down, dude.
I'd like to know who you usually invite to your parties.
Free minds who are able to leave reality for an evening, who can taste forbidden fruit without prejudice. There is nothing that quite spices up life like these parties, assuming one is old enough and has worked many years for the good of one's country.
Oh, all true laborers, I see. Why did you invite Mr. Vogel as your special guest?
He's a pretty fellow. He's capable of surprising the public. He has a talent for saying words that no one else would wish to either say or hear.
I suppose I can't argue with that.
He is a free addition to the eccentricity of the party, which is fine by me, as long as it enhances my party.
Okay, let's give him some evidence here. Start at the
I've
beginning.
no idea about that. You'd better ask someone else.
You bought an expensive pair of cufflinks for Fabio. Were they his price? Or were they a tip for an exclusive show?
It was pure business. Fabio escorted me a few times. I was merely showing my gratitude.
This pair cost a small fortune. You must be extremely grateful then. Tell me more.
You've thrust a knife in an exposed nerve, Sherlock. Yes, he was my protege and my beacon also. With my experience and his beauty, we could have achieved anything. I had faith in him. I would have made him.
But...
You'd better ask someone else. You'd better ask someone else. That's not something I know much about. You'd better ask someone else. That's not something I know much about.
Do you have any idea who tipped off the police to raid your mansion, Mr. Manchios?
Of course. It was you. I could even say you Sherlocked me in here.
No,
a good
it was
guess,
not
but
me.
the wrong one. The fellow who did that was Mr. Pinchetti, your major domo.
What? Santos? But how could he even know? If he's not the murderer himself. The ungrateful swine. He has dared to besmirch my reputation.
Not a very eloquent choice of words.
What should I call him then, since he's a snitch? Make him talk, Sherlock. I'm quite certain he knows more about the murder than he has told the police.
Yes, I know, that's...
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
Okay. So now, I need to... talk to Constable Oswald. Where is he? I don't even remember what he looks like.
Oh, what a long day.
Maybe he's in the evidence room? Oh, what are you guys all doing
Do you know
here?
anything about this?
Sorry, officer, you should ask someone else about that.
What are all these guys doing in here? Right now, I'm running. Nope, not this guy.
Do you know anything about this? Unfortunately, my casebook is empty on this.
You obviously haven't thought this all through. Or are you just annoying these people on purpose?
I don't know who I'm looking for. I can't remember what he looks like. Older, I guess? Did he say he was in the archives? Oh yeah, here he is. Alright, let's start from the beginning.
I've nothing to say about this. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. You'd better ask me a question I know how to answer. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I've nothing to say about this. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I've nothing to say about this.
Okay.
I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I don't think I can tell you anything about this.
Have you considered Mr. Santos Pinchetti as a suspect?
The snitch? Have you seen him? I mean, my breath could knock him down. What's so special about him?
As a major domo, he has keys that open all the rooms, including the one to the crime scene. Could have testified only to circumvent suspicion, don't you think? We need to question him.
Right. I'll send our men to fetch him. Stay here.
Great.
They brought him in, Mr. Holmes. Here's the key to interrogation room number 7. Mr. Pinchetti didn't even resist, our men said.
Thank you.
Okay. John.
Don't look at them. They'll serve us if necessary.
John, what are you doing? Noodle. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Mr. Pinchetti, a pleasure to meet you. I'm
thought that
Sherlock
was a
Holmes.
gun.
I'm helping Constable Oswald.
I've already told him everything I know. I'm only a witness, sir. Everything's in my report.
And I've read it. You forgot to mention that you hold the keys to the room where Fabio was found. I need only to find if the crime was intentional.
But I need to return to my duties.
I doubt the house will fall without you, Mr. Pinchetti. Just be still for a few seconds.
Okay. Uh-huh. Patched holes. Repaired multiple times. Dyed textile. Colored more than once. Inflamed skin. Psoriasis or an allergy. Blood splatter, stepped in blood. Well, well, well. Santos Pinchetti is the head servant at the Manchios mansion. Despite being employed at the highest position within the household, he appears to be poor. Despite having enough money, Mr. Pinchetti spends as little of it as possible. Cheap makeup hides imperfections on his body. In an attempt to look more modern, Mr. Pinchetti has dyed his suit on several occasions. To save even more money, the majordomo appears to have personally repaired multiple holes in the suit. I don't think so. There's nothing about him that screams miserly to me. His body shows symptoms of psoriasis. Mr. Pinchetti hides his damaged skin under layers of makeup. Majordomo's suit had multiple holes that have been patched or sewn. To renovate the suit's look, Mr. Pinchetti has dyed it. It seems more realistic.
You are the majordomo of a rich mansion, and you seem barely able to afford decent clothing. You hide, under heavy makeup, a skin disease that might be treated with more onerous but less harmful means. Do you have money troubles?
Do not have a lot of means. The pay is below what you might expect.
But you could easily change your job if your employer does not meet your elementary needs.
One can change his employer, that is true.
And the blood on your shoe, where does that come from?
I don't actually know. Perhaps from a guest.
Okay.
Did you know Fabio?
Not personally. He was a frequent guest, and cleaning the mess after his performances was tedious. Mr. Manchios always had a role for him, and mainly the leading one. The parties were always Fabio-centric.
And Batista? Was she as popular as her partner?
Don't tell her I said this, but I do not think so. Mr. Manchios hired her only because Fabio refused to work without her. Mr. Manchios used to see her as a worker. She was tasked with entertaining the guests, unlike Fabio, who could pick and choose. Please let me out.
No, you're not done yet.
I recognize the key from the altar room among these.
Small note attached to the will says, Santos, my hopeful slug. You begged me to include you in my will, so I did. Here's my latest revision of the will. Santos Pinchetti, the majordomo of the Manchios mansion, receives a jar of mustache wax and a salt lamp, that he might always remember his caring employer, Kurt Manchios. Well, that's a little rude, isn't it?
Mr. Manchios says that you begged him to be included in the heritage. Isn't that a little extreme, even for a majordomo?
He's not only my employer, he's my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm his next of kin. The only one. Mr. Manchios flatly refuses to pay a family member. All I have to do is repay his so-called love. Cleaning up the filth after perverts and decadents. He's imprisoned me. The best I can hope for is a new broom. That's why I wanted to have my part of the inheritance.
I see.
Is it that bad? You have a roof above your head, a salary, and the status of a majordomo.
For God's sake. I'm forced to dye and stitch my threadbare clothes, and the holes in my shoes are painful. I'm ashamed every time a guest looks at me closely.
Why do you think your uncle treats you this way?
My mother, my uncle's sister, had me illegitimately. She died, and I was given the surname of one of the maids.
But you are entitled to some of the money that belongs to your family.
He thinks not.
Mm-hmm.
I was not responsible for my mother's death. I work hard, and he pays me nothing. I feed on the leftovers.
Oh.
While he wastes our estate's property on decadent parties. He paid Fabio handsomely and showered him with expensive gifts for their disgusting relationship.
Interesting. Let's talk to... See if we can talk to him again about this.
I've no idea about that.
I've read the letter about your will. A harsh method of ridiculing Santos. I doubt he will use mustache wax when he wears no mustache to begin with.
Where did you get it? Is the slug here? Tell him. I shouldn't have to provide for him. He's a grown man who shouldn't sit on his uncle's neck. He conceives himself as my only heir.
And who is he to you?
He's a leech on my aging body. He has only added problems to my life since the death of his mother.
I fail to see why you made him your majordomo.
He needed to know his place, so I taught him.
Well, you're rude. Can I talk to her about anything?
I know I can handle the news.
Okay.
You've got a lot to do, Sherlock.
Okay, let's take a look at this now. Kurt. So, I can probably go to the evidence room, right? Okay. Let's go. In our mind palace here. No. Kurt Manchios cleaned himself of blood after Fabio's murder. Maybe? Or Kurt Manchios carefully prepared himself for the depravity. Pinchetti has been forced to work for Kurt Mencios in desperate hope of obtaining heritage, but it hasn't paid off. Santos Pinchetti may have stepped in the blood while discovering the crime scene. That is true. This doesn't match. Or Pinchetti missed the blood spatter. Santos Pinchetti failed to notice a bloodstain on the side of his shoe when he was cleaning himself up. I just don't know why he would kill Fabio. Fabio hasn't done anything to him. Okay, I think that's it. John the journalist. So this is the report that he wrote, Wallowing in Mud with Cordona's Elite by John. Have you noticed that pigs are always somewhere to be found around filth? The same can be said about certain members of Cordona's Elite found at the Mencios mansion. The cream of society has a thirst for lust, dirt, and nefarious deeds. Perverse, corrupt officials prefer to solve political issues behind the velour curtains. Cowden, the vice governor, for example, his political marriage collapsed international affairs with Prussia. Where do you suppose this took place? At a party of Mr. Kurt Mencios? Not to mention that this puddle of waste is being nurtured in a mansion that once belonged to a crazed architect. I have the hiccups. A place where every shape and edge has occult meaning. Cordona's Elite feels safe and fine there, to be sure. This in a short summary of a single evening, but I am sure there is more to uncover. However, my hard work won't affect the run of my newspaper. Well, because as much as I hate to admit it, you don't exist, John. Where's the evidence room? Over here? Yeah, okay.
Good night. Your ticket, please, if you want me to help you.
Here you go. Where is the ticket? Evidence ticket.
I'd like to check the evidence from this case.
And who are you?
Oswald sent me. I'm a consulting detective.
His partner, then? Let me see. Ah, a ritual murder. What a bunch of degenerates. Wait a second. I'll bring it to the table.
Thank you. Alright, what do we got here?
It's a miracle this ruby hasn't tempted anyone. A heavily perfumed handkerchief with the initials KM in the corner. All the keys of the mansion on one golden ring.
Okay, so that's Mencios. This is Vogel.
An emergency kit for boredom.
The letter was found in Vogel's evidence box. Is your mind unsound? You can't control your bitterness, not around me anyway. For me, it's too great a risk to ignore that kind of behavior. I can speak, and play with anyone I choose. I'm not another Matista. You pay me, but you haven't bought me. Of course, I'll keep all your generous donations, even though they hardly compensate for their last terrible outburst. I am leaving you, although Matista will still be around.
Not the time for privacy. Werner's personal sketchbook.
So was he leaving? Okay, I'd love, please, to be able to...
Her key to the altar room.
Yep, and...
A handcrafted charm that contains hair and nail clippings.
Gross.
That's not for bedtime reading.
Power of love, blood, and mandrake.
This ex libris belongs to Manchios' library.
The police found this occult book in Batista's bag during the arrest. According to the ex libris, the tome was taken from Mr. Manchios' collection. It contains illustrations and descriptions of a ritual similar to the crime scene. Prepare the naked body of a recently deceased object of interest. Draw symbols of Mars and Venus to enhance the power you possess. To use the force of male and female nature. Pierce his heart with a golden dagger to be rid of the blood that does not love you. Draw a symbol representing your love. While waiting for the resurrection, recite the charm.
The book describes a ritual similar to the one performed in the altar room.
Interesting.
Thank you, officer.
That'll be all. I'm curious. So we have a letter that would implicate Manchios because he's leaving. And then a book in Batista's stuff that would indicate she knew he was also leaving. And so she might have cause. Okay. What are all these people doing around here, these masked people? Alright, I think that this is where we need to stop this episode, and then in the next episode we'll be able to hopefully solve everything. But in the meantime, thank you everyone and anyone who was watching, and we'll see you in the next one to hopefully finish up. Bye-bye.